Hi team. So I'm super excited. Tonight we're going to be talking about how to coach your team. So I want to welcome you guys to Next Generation Plexus Teach Tuesday. Today I'm going to be the teacher. I know the past few weeks we've had some people from the team sharing, and we're going to have some more guests and people from our team sharing this month as well. But I am going to share some tips with you guys tonight. This is a pre-recorded Zoom because I had a couple of things come up, but I'm really dedicated to being able to help you guys with your businesses and showing up. Tonight we also have our Diamonds in the Making Zoom, which is at 8:30 with Sapphire Ambassador Jill Renfro, which I'm super excited about. I will be on taking notes and listening on that, so I want to encourage you guys to get on that Zoom. After you watch this, tonight's not going to take a super long amount of time, but I wanted to talk to you guys about coaching your team and the importance of doing that. All of you guys on this team watching this are leaders. You became a leader the first time you had someone join your team. And if you don't have anyone on your team yet, they're coming, so you need to prepare yourself and be equipped with the right tools and the knowledge to be able to help your team. And this is something that I wanted to share with you guys because not only is it really important, but for me personally, this is something that I really had to work on. For any of you guys who know my journey, I started about a year and a half ago, and I went to silver and gold really, really fast in this business because I have a huge network. I know a lot of people from moving around and being really involved on my campus, but I had to learn a lot of leadership skills, and I had to learn how to equip you guys so that you guys can equip your team and so on and so forth. And that's a huge part of how you're successful in this business. So I want to teach you guys something that I had to learn the hard way, and I want you guys to know it right off the bat. So I'm going to screen share with you guys tonight, and we're going to talk about how you can coach your teams. Now, I'm going to be going over a file that we have in our team page called How to Do Coaching Calls. First of all, before I screen share and go over all this information with you guys, I want you to know that you should be doing coaching calls weekly with your runners every week with all of them. So if that's not something that you're doing right now, you need to start doing it because it's really, really important for them to stay accountable. You can stay accountable to them as well. And you need to be pouring into the people on your team who really want this. So just keep that in mind and know that this file is made for that, for you to be doing weekly coaching calls. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in just a second. Okay, so here we are. Let me see if I can close this little tab. Maybe not. Okay, guys. So this team file you can find in Next Generation Plexus under, if you're on your phone, you go to Info, and then you can see all the files. And it's called How to Do Coaching Calls. So first of all, coaching calls are really important weekly, but also they're really important when your new ambassador first joins. So you want to be getting your new ambassadors on the phone or on a Zoom with you to establish their goals and talk about their why and all that kind of stuff ASAP. Like, not when you get around to it. And all of this is in our new ambassador process as well in our file system. You need to be getting on the phone or getting on Zoom with your new ambassador like that. Like, as soon as they can do it, as soon as you guys can match your times up, at least in that week. But honestly, guys, the sooner the better. So if you can do it that day, the next day, within 3 days, that is so much better for them and their business. And your job is to help them, and you're coaching them. So take responsibility for that and be the person to always, when you have a new ambassador, say, hey, like, when can we do a coaching call to help you get your goals together, and we can kind of talk about the basics and stuff like that. So in our new ambassador process, a couple of these first questions are already in that. So you should be following the new ambassador process. You can tweak that to your liking for your team. This business is all about doing what works for you. But I want you guys to know that the new ambassador process that we have right now is working really, really well. All of our new team members are doing amazingly well, which is super exciting. So take a lot of this into consideration to pass on with your team. So the first few questions are already something you should have asked them before you're doing a coaching call, but I included them in here in case you didn't ask them. So these are really, really important questions to ask your newbies. So how serious are you about the business? Are you serious about the business? Some people are going to join and they're just a wholesale ambassador, and that's okay. So know that if they're like, no, I'm not really serious about the business right now, that's okay. But you want to know that so that you know how to help them. Even our wholesale ambassadors should be going silver. They should be getting their products paid for and getting their products for free, because even if they want to just be a consistent wholesale ambassador, consistent on their products, they're going to be so much more successful at being consistent on their products if their products are free. So that's important for you to know either way. The next question is, how many hours a week are you willing to put into your business? So if they tell you that they're serious about the business in some aspect, maybe that means they just want to get their products paid for. Maybe it means they want to make a couple $100s a month. Maybe it means they want to go diamond with you. Whatever the case may be, you need to be asking them how many hours a week they're willing to put into their business. What that does is it shows their willingness to work, and that's important for you to know as their leader, and it's important for you to hold them accountable to that. So if they tell you they're going to work 5 hours a week, so that just means an hour at night when they get home from class or work or whatever, that's a great place to start. That's where I started. But this is where you as their leader are holding them accountable to that. So if they tell you they're going to work 5 hours, 10 hours a week or whatever, you know that, you have it written down. And by the way, you guys, while you're doing coaching calls, a huge tip is to have a notebook. I have a notebook where when I do coaching calls with you guys, I write down what we talk about every week, every time that we talk, and it's all in the same notebook. So when I have a coaching call, I pull out my coaching call notebook and everything's in there. But getting back to the file, the next question is if they consider themselves coachable. And to add on to that, I also ask if there was something holding them back from their goals, would they want me to tell them? And that's really important, because that gives you a sense of if they're coachable, if there's something holding them back from their goals, are they going to make the change? Are they going to listen when you tell them, hey, this complaining you're doing while you're posting on Facebook is not really good for your business? Are they going to listen and take that constructively? Are they going to, maybe when you say, hey, you haven't been reaching out to 5 people a day, that's why your business isn't moving forward. That's why you're not meeting your goals. Are they going to take that constructively? That's really, really important for you to know as a leader. So those 3 questions are crucial. If you don't ask them in the new ambassador process, which you should be, you definitely want to ask it on their first coaching call. The other great questions that you really need to ask and establish with them, and guys, these are really important whether you're just now starting to do coaching calls with your team or they're newbies. So if you have someone who's been on your team for a little while, but you've never done a coaching call with them, you still need to ask them all of these questions. As awkward as it might be sometimes, coaching is not all about you telling them what to do. You need to be asking them questions and getting them to talk to you. So sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's awkward to be like, so how serious are you about the business? Do you consider yourself coachable? But that's the job that you take on when you become a leader for your team. And it's important. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And it won't feel so awkward. It's just really important. So moving right along, a huge important question that you want to ask them is, why did you join Plexus? And why is that important to you? You want to know their why so that you know what they're working towards. And maybe you ask the question, if there was something holding you back from reaching your goals, would you want me to tell you? Maybe that ties in with their why. And if they start to slack off a little bit, you can pull them back in and say, hey, you told me that if something was holding you back from reaching your goals, you wanted me to tell you. So this is what you aren't doing. This is why you aren't meeting your goals. This is what you're doing this for. This is your why. You're doing this for your kids. You're doing this for this or that or whatever. And you can remind them that they can do this and why they're doing this. So that's important for you to know, and it's important for them to know, and it starts to get the gears turning for themselves as well. So from there, you want to gear them towards either the live new ambassador orientation or the pre-recorded version of the new ambassador orientation. This is another part of the new ambassador process. So you may, at this point when you're doing a coaching call, already have sent them the pre-recorded version. And if so, that's awesome. If they kind of sort of want to work their business all the way up to they want to do this, like they need to be doing the new ambassador orientation in some form. So every Monday, this Monday, Tyler started us out with the new ambassador orientation being live in our team group. We're going to do that every Monday. So whenever your team member joins, they can either hit the ground running and watch the pre-recorded version, or if they're kind of like just getting into it, they want to see how they're doing on their products, they want to kind of hear the what the new ambassador orientation is about and what could come of a business if they decided to pursue that. They can watch the live version. They don't have to watch it right away, but you need to make sure that they watch one of them. And the next time you do a coaching call with them, you need to ask if they watched it and if they took notes and if they have questions about it. So moving right along to the next section, after they've seen the orientation, schedule another call with them. So you can do this online. There's a website called setmore.com where you can schedule with people. I've used that before. I may go back to it, but with my schedule right now, it's a little bit easier for me to be flexible with times for you guys. But on there, you can set different times that you're available for coaching calls and just have your team members go on there and schedule it. You can have it scheduled to be reoccurring, to have reminders so they're reminded when you guys have coaching calls each week. And the most important things for you in our first session of doing a coaching call and, recurring wise, you want to make sure that they know these things. Number one, that reaching out to new people and following up with the people that they've reached out to is their number one business building priority. It is not posting on Facebook. It's not scrolling through Facebook. It's not posting on Instagram. It's not anything except reaching out to new people and following up with people, building relationships. All the other things are important. Yes, personal development, guys, that is super important to your business too. But when your new ambassador is getting started, or maybe it's not even someone new, they're just getting into their business and they need to know what they need to be doing, they have to have the focus first on reaching out to people and following up. That's where your business starts. That's where your business ends. That's where everything about building your business is, for the most part. And that's where you need to help them focus on. As their leader, you need to help them make sure that they know that. Also, you want to encourage them to add their potentials to our potentials group, Blessed by Plexus, and their customers to Powered by Plexus. And to regularly post in those groups. Those groups are awesome, but they're only as awesome as we make them. So if you're not posting in there as a leader and you're telling your ambassador to post in there, guess what? They're not going to do it. They don't see you doing it. So you have to step up and be a leader for those people, and encourage them to do things that you are willing to do yourself. So if that means, oh man, like if you're watching this and you're like, I never post in those groups, that means you need to open those groups up and post in them once a day. It takes a few seconds out of your day, and you cannot ask your team members to do things that you don't do yourself. That's just how leadership works. So make sure that you're leading by example and leading from the front. You also want to encourage them to figure out when they can work their business. I'm a scheduled person, guys. My planner's sitting right in front of me, and there's stuff all over it, and I would lose my mind without it because I have a million things going on, and so do all of us. None of us have excuses. We all have the same 24 hours a day as everyone in the entire world. So there's no excuses. Everyone's busy. Some people work 2 or 3 jobs. Some people are full-time college students. Some people just work from home and they have to learn how to discipline themselves. But no matter what the situation is with them, they need to know when they're going to work their business. Because this isn't a business where you can just say, oh, I'll work it sometime today. No, you don't have to have set business hours. I encourage you to, especially if you're new. And if your new ambassador is new, I encourage that. And then they can kind of get flexible with everything and work in the nooks and crannies. But there has to be some purpose there. And you need to help your new ambassador establish that. So encourage them to, even if it's 30 minutes, write down their business hours, put it in a planner, even if it's a planner from the dollar store. Guys, you don't have to have an Erin Condren planner, although I love it, but you got to have it laid out. So you need to help your new ambassador do that. The next section I'm going to talk about is goal setting. So another huge part of you coaching your ambassadors is to help them set goals. So you want to ask them what their short-term goals are, as in their PV, their customers, their new ambassadors, what ranks they want to achieve, silver, gold, beyond. Ask them if they think their goals are attainable. So this is a huge thing, and we'll talk about this another time, but in depth. But if your new ambassador says, yeah, like I want to go gold, and they don't put in I want to go gold time in their business, they're not going to go gold. So you need to make sure that they understand, if they tell you their goal is a big goal, then you need to tell them that that's a big goal and they're going to have to work their butt off to get there. Don't discourage them and say, no, you can't go gold this month. You just need to tell them you need to have a light under you. You need to have a fire within yourself, and you need to be working your business every second you get. All the time, not taking weekends off because you want to relax. You got to put some effort in if that's your goal. So ask if they think their goals are attainable. Ask what they think they need to do to reach their goals. The coaching calls and coaching your team is not always about saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to get the gears turning in their heads. That's how you develop leaders instead of just developing people who are robots and just do what you say. Because first of all, they're probably not going to just do what you say, because that's not the way that we work as humans. But that's also, even if they did, that's not helping them. They have to make decisions to do things themselves, and they have to start thinking, okay, so if my goal is to go silver, what do I need to do every single day to reach that? Okay, I need to reach out to new people every day. I need to follow up with people. I need to be posting consistently and show up on social media. I need to develop relationships everywhere I go. And you want them to start thinking that themselves. So ask them these questions. Ask what they think they need to do to reach their goals, and how many people they need to reach out to every day. How many times they need to post daily. All that kind of stuff. Ask them what their plan is this week to reach their goals. So you're coaching them weekly, and you want to ask them, okay, so these are your goals this week, and you want to help them break it down. So if they tell you my PV goal is 500 this month, you help them break it down by week. So then you get to their weekly goals. So you say, okay, this, and this are your goals this week. What is your plan to get there? What do you have going on this week? Are you working? Do you have class? How much time do you have for your business, and where is that going to be? What are you going to be doing when you do have the time to work your business? Help them lay that out and ask them the question. Don't lay it out for them. Like I said, you have to ask the questions and wait for the response. I also am going to tell you guys hands down that in goal setting, you want to encourage your new ambassadors to practice affirmations. So they need to begin with affirmations that are positive and say them out loud. Encourage them to watch The Secret, read the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. We're doing a book study on it right now. We have a free PDF version of this book as well. They need to get their mindset right about their goals, and that's a huge part of you coaching them. If they don't have anyone to tell them that, then they're probably not going to know. So you have to take responsibility for the people on your team and make sure that they know all that stuff. And you can also ask them if they want an accountability partner. So there's great people on your team and you're like, oh my gosh, they would be so perfect to hold each other accountable and work together. Pair those people together and help those people develop relationships with each other. On our team, we have people all over the country now. Like, our top leaders on our team are like in completely different time zones than I am. And so that's exciting, but I know that I have to plug those people in, and I have to build our team culture in a different kind of way. And part of you being able to do that for your team is, doing accountability little groups or pairs and helping people get to know each other, but also hold each other accountable for their goals. So The last two sections I'm going to talk about are coaching calls that you're doing weekly, and then good questions to ask monthly. And then I'm going to share with you guys from my heart some of the things that are really important for you to be a leader before I end us out and announce our Tuesday Spotlight for this week. So for subsequent coaching calls, you want to be asking how they did with their goals for the past week. And I'm going to take a sip of water. I'm always like talking super fast when I'm doing videos and stuff for you guys. But so ask them how they did with their goals this past week. Did they meet their goals? Did they not meet their goals? Ask why they think that is. I ask myself that every week. I try to sit down and evaluate, okay, this was my goal. Did I meet it? Did I not meet it? If I did meet it, why do I think I met it? Was it my mindset? Was it I reached out to a ton of new people this week? Was it I got out of my comfort zone this week? Or maybe sometimes I don't meet a goal. So I have to think to myself, did I not make time for my business this week? Was I not in a positive mindset? Did I take a whole day off? Did I take the whole weekend off? Really encourage your team members to evaluate that stuff and ask them the questions about it. If they have accountability partners, ask if they kept up with accountability. Ask what they think that they can do better this coming week. Like I said, you guys should be taking notes on your coaching calls with your team. So review your notes from the last coaching call and ask them if they met their weekly goals and kept up with what they were saying they were going to do and what they wanted to work on. So you can help hold them accountable for that. Another great thing you can ask people is ask what their daily method of operations is right now, their DMO. So that means when they're working their business, what are they doing? And that's going to help them get the gears turning. Okay, like, am I actually working my business or am I just scrolling through Facebook? Because for new ambassadors, the distinction between the two depends on you and what you tell them. So if you don't ask what they're doing when they work their business and they tell you, yeah, I put in 5 hours this week. Well, girlfriend, if you put 5 hours into your business this week, then you should have a whole lot of new potentials because you can reach out to a lot of people in 5 hours in the whole week. You can follow up with a lot of people. You can build a lot of relationships. So make sure you know what they're doing with their business and with their time, even if it's 30 minutes or an hour a day, and help break that down with them. And then help them establish goals for this coming week. Know what those are, write them down. So the next time you have a coaching call with them, you can go over that stuff and do the same thing. So that's the process of what you can be doing with them weekly. And then there's good questions to ask monthly, either at the end of a month or the beginning of a month when they're developing their new goals for the new month coming up. Ask how many new ambassadors they added to their team this past month, as a team and personally. So this is going to be a reflection of you, okay? So if you don't add new ambassadors, you don't add new customers, you're going to see that play out in your team because you're leading from the front. So if you're leading your team and you're not adding anyone to your team, you're not adding any new customers, what do you think your team's going to do? They're going to do the exact same thing as you. So when you're asking this, it's going to help you dig down deep as a leader and be like, okay, like they're not doing anything because I'm not doing anything, or vice versa. They're meeting their goals because I'm meeting my goals and I'm working really hard. So ask how they did this past month. Ask what their points were. Ask how many new customers they added, what their PV was, and then help them build those goals up for the next coming month. So all of this has to do with keeping your team members accountable, teaching them and leading from the front, and helping them establish attainable goals, keeping them consistent, which your job is not to make them consistent. Your job is not to motivate them. You can encourage them, and you should do that, but they've got to want it as well. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm going to stop the screen share so I can just share a few things from my heart with you guys about leadership and about leading your team and coaching them. And then we're going to do our Tuesday Spotlight, which I'm excited to announce for this week. So first thing that comes to mind as far as leading and coaching your team is, like I said, you have to lead from the front. You cannot ask your team members to do things that you are not willing to do yourself. If you talk to your team members and they say, I want to go silver this month. And you're like, yeah, girl, you can do that. Just make sure you reach out to 5 new people every day. You follow up with 3 people a day. You develop relationships. You do personal development. You post and you show up on social media every single day. But you don't do that, your team is not going to do that. If you tell your team member they can go silver in the month they join, which is totally doable, your new ambassadors can go silver in the first week that they join, in the first few days. It's happened on our team. But if you can't even add 3 new ambassadors, even if you're already silver, you need to be adding 3 new ambassadors every week. And you guys, I'm preaching to myself. I'm learning this myself because I have to lead from the front for you guys. But you can't tell your new ambassadors that they can go silver if you can't go silver every month, okay? You've got to lead from the front. You've got to lead by example, and you have to show up. You have to be serious about this, and not in the sense that it's serious, it's all business, it's not about relationships. No, this whole business is about relationships, and you have to have strong relationships with your team members. But you have to ask your team members to do coaching calls and then show up for your coaching calls every week. If you do coaching calls with me or whoever your upline is, you have to show up to coaching calls. If you want your team to show up, you show up. If you want your team to show up to Zooms, show up. That's how you lead your team. That's how you coach your team, by doing what you say you're going to do and then holding them accountable for what they say they're going to do. So that's the thing, guys. That's the biggest thing. And all of these tips that I shared with you guys and the questions and all of that, you can tweak to your liking, guys. Some of the things are really important to ask with those first few questions, but what's really important is you leading from the front and being a leader for them. You have to start doing that, and it never feels natural to, I mean, for some people are natural born leaders, but it never feels 100% comfortable to be doing things like this, to do coaching calls with your team if you've never done them before. Nothing feels comfortable the first time that you do it, so you just have to do it. And if you're not doing coaching calls with your team, you need to be. You have to be. That's how, I mean, guys, I'm telling you this because I didn't do it consistently with my team as I was growing. And I'm learning from my mistakes, and I'm teaching them to you guys so that you guys don't have to do exactly what I did, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit better. But I'm working to lead from the front, you guys, and I want you guys to work to lead from the front for your team. You have to lead by example, and your team is going to follow you in greatness if you put in the work and you're great. If you're a great leader, you develop great leaders. Another thing that I want to mention to you guys is that your job as a leader for your team, I'm going to repeat this because I said it a few minutes ago, it is not about you motivating any of your team members. There's going to be people who join your team and they don't show up to coaching calls when you schedule them with them. I mean, don't speak that over your business because you don't want that, and don't say that that's going to always happen to you, but that happens sometimes, and that's not about you. If you show up, you need to be spending time with people who show up, and you don't need to invest all of your time in your team members who don't want it. And that's something that's hard for everyone in our company and outside of our company to learn. It's hard to learn that about being a leader. And I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I'm not going to invest my time in doing coaching calls with you and pouring my time into you if you don't do the same. And tonight you guys are going to hear this on the Zoom with Jill Renfro. You can't pour your time into, I mean, you can, but you don't need to pour your time into people who don't give back what you put in. And set that expectation with your team. I'm not going to do coaching calls with anyone on our team who gives me 20% because I'll give you 20%. But any one of you who show up, I will always show up and make time to do coaching calls with you or whatever you need me to help you with, because that's the way this business works. I'm telling you guys, 80% of your team growth and your team, like your real team, the people who are going to stick with you, 80% of that is made up of 20% of your people. So you got your top 20% of people that you need to be focusing on, and you can encourage and love on the rest of the people on your team, but you've got to run with the runners, okay? So develop whatever you need to do to have a coaching call system, to be coaching your team and leading from the front, and put your time and effort and energy into people who put their time and effort and energy to showing up, because you have to show up for them to show up, and you guys show up together, and that's where the magic happens. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. I hope you took something from it. I hope that a lot of you guys are watching this. I'm really sad that I had to pre-record this, but thank you guys so much for understanding. I'm glad that I still got to get this information to you guys, and I know that the leaders who want this information are going to show up and watch the video. So I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm going to go ahead and announce our Tuesday Spotlight for this week. We're doing them every week on Tuesday, our Teach Tuesday Zooms. And I'm excited to be doing it this way because I get to announce it to everyone and make it really special. So this week, our Tuesday Spotlight is someone who put some effort into developing our team and showed up this week in an incredible way. So this week's Tuesday Spotlight is Tyler Hawa, and I want to congratulate her so much, and I want you guys to understand that Tyler is someone who really leads from the front, because she's got an amazing team and she has such amazing leadership skills. But this week she did our Near Master Orientation on Monday, and she did amazing at it. So if you guys haven't seen that, go back and watch and like and comment and show her some love on that. We're going to be doing them every week, but hers was this week, and she was kind of the first person to do one besides me, because I had been doing them week after week. So Tyler stepped up and did the first one besides me. So she really stepped up, showed up this week, and I'm really excited to have had her do that, and it means a lot to all of our team. So make sure you say thank you to Tyler for leading by example and for showing up. We love you, Tyler, and we're so proud of you, and we're excited to see your team grow. So look out for that announcement on the team page as well. It will be posted, and every week our Tuesday Spotlight is on our banner of our team page. So Tyler, you're about to be up there, and we're so excited. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We will have our Leaders Zoom on Sunday, so don't forget about that. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have our book study Zoom at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys tune into those, and I will talk to you guys. I'll see you guys tonight on the Diamonds in the Making Zoom with Jill Renfro. Guys, it's going to be so good. So make sure you're on there taking notes and showing up. Show up if you want your team to show up. And then I'll also talk to you guys next week after our leaders call and all that stuff this Sunday. So love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.